Bears.
The Bears. Best team in the league.
Super Bowl winners this year, 100%.
110%. And you don't believe
Greatest.
that, do you?
Number one offense, number one
Fire.
defense, number one special teams. Didn't even know that was a thing, but it is now.
Yeah. Specialist of teams. And you may be thinking, where do these claims stem from? Whoops. Well, for starters, tied with the 49ers on interceptions last year. 49ers, best defense in the league. 49ers, they should have won the Super Bowl. 49ers, why is Brock Purdy so cute? You know, like, best defense in the league, and the Bears tied. And people say the Bears suck. The Bears.
Well, our secondary was good. Our rush defense was good. I mean, I wouldn't say our secondary was the best all season. They sort of got cooked first half of the season, but
that was Eddie Jackson's
the
fault.
second half, yeah, it was Eddie Jackson's fault.
He's gone.
Thank goodness.
Now, number one ranked rush defense in the league. And people are always saying, like, the Seahawks have the greatest defense in the nation, but, like, if you look at the numbers, it's definitely the Bears. I'm not a Seahawks fan, by the way. I would never. So when you go and you look at the actual players, right? We'll start with who we already have on the team. I'll let Mason take this one away from
Bears MVP, Jalen Johnson, arguably the best corner in the league. Just saying,
Definitely.
Statistically. Anyways, he had 4 interceptions. That's a career high. He had 1 pick six. Go crazy, Jalen Johnson. 1 forced fumble and a 90.8 rating. PFF rating. So, dog was a dog.
Exactly. And like
What can you say?
you could be
Indisputable. Bro was snubbed from the top 100 too. It's crazy.
100%. And you could be sitting on your couch saying, "Oh, well, no, he's not that good. Show me your 90.8 PFF rating." You don't have one. 0. So shut your
You're
trap.
probably sitting on your couch just glazing the crap out of Sauce Gardner and Patrick Surtain.
Oh yeah,
So,
glazing.
just absolutely glazing.
And now we take a look at Tremaine Edmonds. This guy is a phenomenal. What position does he play at, Mason? You got this one.
Good old linebacker.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah. Even though he wasn't the best linebacker on our team, he had 113 tackles, 4 interceptions, what the heck? Man, if he had 4 interceptions returned for a touchdown, I'd be a happy man, but he only had 1. He had 5 tackles for loss, 1 forced fumble, and 1 fumble recovery. He was a dog, even though he wasn't the best to start out the season. He picked up speed. He should be good this season. He played well for the Bills a couple years ago, and he played decently last year. And we still have our next linebacker, T.J. Edwards.
Ooh,
Okay,
good
he's a dog. 153 tackles, 8 tackles for
Dog.
loss, 2.5 sacks, 3 interceptions, 1 forced fumble, 2 fumble recoveries. So, basically, the Bears are set at the linebacker position. Not to mention, you got Jack Sanborn.
Yeah, I
to,
love Jack.
He, great third guy. He'll come in there and he'll do his job. So, it's all that matters. Brody, you want to pitch in a little bit, or are you just going to sit there and listen?
I'll pitch in. I'm gonna go the main man, Montez Sweat himself. I'm skipping around on our notes, but I don't know the Bears that much, so I'm gonna go to the guy I kind of know. Montez Sweat, elite lineman, almost as good as me in my prime. And this man came to Chicago and made a difference, right? Chicago before Montez Sweat were the Bears, right? No one liked them. They weren't good. But then after he got there, the numbers prove it too. They went from like
I liked him, man. I liked him, bro.
They went from a mediocre rush defense to the best in the league. mainly because of this man, the sweat machine. And he recorded 6 sacks, 1 tackle for loss, and 1 forced fumble. Now, I think this number might not be fully correct, but I'm pretty sure he's the first and only player to ever lead 2 different teams in sacks in the same season.
Pretty sure he is too. I think the crazy thing is too is that you said that the Bears defense. See, this shows how little you know about the Bears.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Doug. All right, the rush defense was already on pace to be the number one, like at the end of the season, number 1 rush defense in the league. It was our pass rush that sucked. It was terrible. And our Montez Sweat chain, like if you look at our, like how much pressure we got on the quarterback from like week 1 through week 8, and from week 9 through week 18, it's monumentally larger because of the fact that Montez Sweat was on the team, and that accounts for the amount of interceptions we caught because we got pressure on the QB, and he was like the QB was like aware that there was a playmaker on our side of the field, while before there wasn't.
Simply
like
put, he had aura.
Yeah, he does.
That
he
man
did have
had
aura.
aura.
You got. So we had Justin Jones, a DT who wasn't really that special, and he's gone now, which really isn't that big a deal. But we didn't have another edge rusher, so it was just like whoever was up next, I guess.
Yeah.
We have Andrew Billings. I want to know here. Hold up, I got to do some research on how much he weighs. He's a big dude.
Andrew Billings, big dude, lineman, almost as big as this guy right here.
That's hilarious. Also, you're pointing away from me on my
No,
screen.
on my screen I'm pointing towards you. That's what the camera's
Okay,
gonna
okay.
see.
He's 311 pounds. 311 pounds. Guess what? Another one of our linemen, our D linemen this year, who also showed a lot of promise last year. Here, I'll read out your stats. Is Jervon Dexter Sr. Okay, he had very limited very limited snaps last year. He recorded 20 tackles and 2.5 sacks in probably less than quarter of a season. Of like, in like terms of how much snaps he got, but he balled out, and I'm looking forward to this year because he's probably going to be one of our starting D linemen. And yeah, he looked pretty good. So, and then we got Andrew Billings. Go crazy, run stopping menace. This is actually recorded post preseason game number 2 where starters played, and defense looked pretty good against the Bills.
They
so
did.
starting defense.
Good enough
We
to
didn't
where
even have
they
our
blew
starting
them out.
second. We didn't even that was later in the game, but before, like in the beginning where all the starters were in, which not even all the starters were in for our defense. We had Jalen Johnson out, Jaquan Brisker was out, Kyler Gordon, Tyreek Stevenson, none of them were playing. And the secondary still looked good, and run defense did really good. Montez Sweat wasn't playing, so yeah, they did a pretty good job. First drive, I'm pretty sure James Cook had negative yards. In the second drive, Cooks might have had 4-5 yards. So defense did good.
Now let's move on to new acquires, that being rookies and new signings. But before we do that, let's start with departures. The very big one, Justin Fields, gone, and that is a plus for the team. This because, as he said, this is like post week 1 of preseason games in general.
Week 1 of like all preseason games.
And
but
we got to see Jay Fields in a Steelers uniform, and it was not great, in my opinion.
It was rough, man.
2 fumbles under center.
But from what I saw,
him.
it was the center's fault. The fumbles were the center's fault. So maybe
Still,
there's more to see.
Maybe. but
Hopefully he plays again.
that'll be
Uh,
something
gets
to
another
see.
chance.
That
But
going off fields, we got to talk about the guy who's replacing him. Good
Caleb
old
Williams.
Caleb Williams.
If we're not gonna, okay, let's just judge it based off of his first 2 drives. All right, 2 field goals. He had 94 yards, I believe, passing and 13 yards rushing, so over 100 yards of total offense
In 2 drives, I think.
in 2 drives. Yep, for Caleb Williams himself. But one thing I think is was really telling was his awareness in the shovel pass to DeAndre Swift, where DeAndre Swift was eventually able to run for 42 yards. Even if DeAndre Swift didn't run that far, the play would have still been impressive, considering the way Caleb Williams flicked it over with like barely even looking. Like he just sort of tossed it over. He had a hand on him. He was about to get sacked, and the play worked out really well. Um, Not to mention the play calling looked good. I actually enjoyed watching the Bears play offense this year, and it wasn't just screens.
Oh yeah.
So
Okay.
thank you to Shane Waldron, new offensive coordinator. Hopefully we'll see stuff like that all year.
Not to
Um,
and back to Caleb here. He actually checks his progressions. I saw like a whole breakdown of him. He looked at the right side, the middle, the left side, scrambled, and looked again. Not
yeah,
just
he's
not the field method of
yeah
running.
he actually did show that he was like going through progressions in that because and he fought like to throw the ball. Like that's something I was looking forward to from the beginning is a quarterback that's gonna
Be a
like
quarterback.
throw the ball first instead of um just running the ball when things go downhill. He uh he recognized one of the plays he rolled out. He rolled out and he recognized Cole Kmet downfield, threw a dart, and that's just like plays that Fields could have made if he would have, looked for passing first rather than, oh crap, pockets collapsing, gotta run.
Yeah, and these are numbers that surely everyone's heard a million times. But in college, he recorded 10,082 yards, all on 66.9% completion, 93 touchdowns, and only 14 interceptions, which is he only played 3 years too. Keep that in mind, which is kind of absurd stats. And I mean the 93 to 14 ratio of touchdowns to interceptions is crazy. And his sophomore season being his best season, and that was his first at USC, I believe. And he recorded 4,500 yards, 42 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions on 67% completion, which is pretty good. So if he can properly translate, and he has way better receivers and everything on the Bears than he did at USC. So if
Yeah,
he
USC had a
translates
bunch last
well,
year.
he's going to be ideally, realistically, putting up absurd numbers. But I think we stick with the rookie theme before we move on to new signings and like former players. So the other rookie that we got to see in the preseason game, at least his second preseason game, was Torrey Taylor, the new
Corey
punter they
Taylor.
picked up.
Yeah, he's really impressive so far. In the previous in the this week's preseason game, he had 2 punts noticeably that landed inside of the 10. One he kicked out of bounds inside of the 10, and then the other one he it got returned for like 13 yards, I think. But he's just really precise, and um, one way I use to describe him is that he's got aimbot with his leg. He just knows where to place the ball.
Yeah.
I don't know how he does it, but I'm hoping he can do that all throughout the year. As long as we have him, we should be in good field position.
And honestly,
Uh,
I
I like
the announcers were talking about how he has a very good ability to get the ball out of bounds at like within the 10, which he is good at. And throughout college, he had a 43% um, of his punts landing inside the 20-yard line, which And it's not a bad average at all. And the average is
Not at
48
all.
punting yards as well, which is like in the middle of the NFL average, but he's just going to improve realistically as he goes. So just how
Yeah.
it works. So,
Um, but then again, like if you look at Iowa's offense, he played for Iowa. Iowa had an awful offense. His longest punt was 67 yards. So, but what if you look at what Iowa's offense was good at doing? It was like good at going, going, and then midfield they'd stall. And then Torrey Taylor has to punt it, and he has to pin them deep, right? So he doesn't overshoot it like a punter shouldn't, and he gets it inside that 10-yard mark, and that's what causes his low average. But he obviously has a leg with a 67-yard punt. That's insane. But yeah, something I can never do.
yeah.
Um,
So let's move
but
to another
yeah,
another rookie. We'll go
Roma
Austin.
Dunze.
Oh, Dunze.
No, we're
Okay.
gonna go Roma Dunze.
All right. I'll let you
All
take
right.
this one.
So obviously very good at um, Washington. But he didn't really show much in the preseason game. But then again, he got targeted once, incomplete pass, or twice. Both of them are incomplete. One of the times Caleb Williams put the ball in danger, and the other one Caleb Williams overthrew him in the end zone. But it would
But
have been a touchdown.
yeah,
But
it was a safe throw.
it was a safe throw. He didn't put it in danger that time, but he knew it too. So that's another thing. He knew he did it. So he's still learning. You can see that he's still learning throughout this preseason process and everything. So, but I'm hoping to see more out of Roma Dunze next game or next preseason game. But obviously they're still rookies. They have a lot of work to do, a lot to learn. So yeah.
You wanna take it away with your guy Austin Booker?
Oh yeah. Austin Booker is extremely underrated. 5th-round pick, okay? We got this guy from Kansas, all right? This guy was projected to go in the 2nd or 3rd rounds, and we didn't get him until the 5th. So to me, that's a steal. And this kid is an edge rusher. Yes, an edge rusher that could really make a difference if he is able to get in there and like prove himself because in his career, he had 56 tackles as a D lineman, so that's pretty decent. 12 tackles for loss, 8 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles. I think actually that was last year. Yeah, last year. So, because he didn't really play much before that, but he played really well last year. He also had 2 forced fumbles. I don't know if I said that, but he definitely played really well in college. I'm looking forward to seeing if he becomes something for the Bears, but definitely think it was a good way to spend our 5th pick. We do have another pick, but I don't know too much about him. He's a lineman. I forget his name. I forget where he's from.
We didn't do much
But
research on him, but
it was our 3rd-round pick.
yeah.
So
So hopefully he's good. You know, the Bears need
yeah,
a
we'll
line.
see.
Definitely need a line.
Which actually we have 2 new offensive linemen too that are playing. Our center's new, and one of our guards I think is new. Maybe our tackle. I don't know.
Did a
Because
lot
our
of-
right tackle is set. Our right tackle is set. Darnell Wright's a dog.
So
Tevin Jenkins is left guard. It's a dog.
you want to move?
But I don't
into
know.
New signings?
Let's start with Keenan Allen.
Oh yeah, big dog.
That was
A steal.
crazy. I remember seeing that on the on Instagram. I
Yeah.
literally looked at Instagram and it was like Bears get Keenan Allen for a 4th-round pick.
It was a
And
fourth.
I was like,
Wow, I thought it was a third.
okay.
So
We'll take him, I guess.
so this like the stipulations I think is the right word with Keenan Allen is that he's old, right? Like we got Unk on the field. Like this
And
might be
he's
a
been
mistake.
hurt.
And
He's
yeah,
been hurt. Like he's
But-
always missed like games, but he had a fully healthy season last
but
season.
yeah,
So
if you look at the numbers, right? He's kind of been like the Chargers' only receiver, so he's probably taken the most hits, which, like, now he's not. So that might lower injury risk. but that every single full season he's played, he has had over 1,000 yards. And last season, he finished number 11 in yards with 1,243, and he had 17 touchdowns on the season, which is very good. So, if you just factor that in, he's good. He's even like last year. You're saying he's old, but he's still doing it. He's been doing it for 12 years. 1,000 but it's every single season since his first season that he's played the full 16, 17 games. 1,000 or more yards. And there's even one season where he played 14 games and had 1,000 yards. And yeah, he's him. He's like a weapon.
And I don't even care that he's old because he's a veteran. He can teach some of the young wide receivers in our wide receiver room
Like Tyler Scott.
what he does, and he's hopefully Tyler Scott becomes something. Like I've seen a lot about him like this offseason, but there's not been like a whole lot. So we'll see. But he's just a small guy. He's a small dude.
So then Eagles acquirings.
Oh yeah.
So we'll start with Swift. Start with D Swift.
Yeah, DeAndre Swift.
Oh yeah.
We added an elusive back. We sort of needed one because we had two power backs on our team, Khalil Herbert and Roshan Johnson. They're really good at just bowling people over, but they're not too elusive. Like they can't really break off like DeAndre Swift can. DeAndre Swift is an extremely mobile player.
And I don't believe that they are receiving backs really either, right? Like they can catch a screen because that's what the Bears did, but like they're not going to go out for a pass. Now the thing with DeAndre Swift, right? He came in number 5 in yards of all running backs last season, which is pretty good. And then he had only 5 touchdowns, 5 for number 5 in yards, but because he's on the Eagles. And he also, actually, I don't have how many yards he had, so I think it was like 600 maybe rushing.
For receiving?
No, rushing. But then receiving, he had 214 yards, which as a running back,
600 rushing, you goober.
Oh, well, as he's looking this up, I'll give out the other details. Receiving, he had 214 receiving yards. And this is a team that has A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, so 2 very good. And Goddard, too. So 3 very good receiving people.
Man, you were 400 yards off.
Is it 200?
1,049 receiving yards. Or rushing yards.
Swift?
Yes.
Last season?
He's a running back. He's a running back, dude.
But last season...
How do you think he got 5? How do you think he got to 5th place if he didn't have over 1,000 rushing yards, dog? You're talking like company like CMC, Derrick Henry, like all like top 5. That's where you're looking at. You're telling me that you think that a top 5 running back is not going to be over 1,000 yards?
My bad. My mistake. I was just incorrect. So yeah, he has over 1,000 rushing yards, 214 receiving yards, only 5 touchdowns. So what you said he had how many exactly yards? Like 1,200?
1,049
I
yards.
was off again. So he averaged 1 touchdown per 200 yards rushed, which is not. He's on the Eagles. They're afraid of letting anyone but their quarterback get a touchdown.
Yeah.
And
so we'll see how he does in the Bears. We use our running backs a lot.
So theoretically,
we had like the number 1 rushing offense a couple years ago. So.
And like you said, he had that 40-yard run catch thing.
Yeah, and he looked really good.
And then so then we'll move to the other Eagles pickup. Good old Kevin Byard III. I'll let Mason take this one away.
Last season he had 122 tackles, 1 interception, 1 fumble recovery. Obviously, it wasn't his best year, but he is getting older. The main thing I'm looking at for him is that he's just an upgrade over Eddie Jackson. So, couldn't get worse. I remember watching a couple games where Eddie Jackson was just sitting back there doing who knows what. So, hoping it'll be much different with Kevin Byard on the team. He should pretty much complete our secondary. So, yeah, besides him, like, let's just say, let me take a second to appreciate The Bears secondary. All right. All right. Okay, so you got Jalen Johnson, top tier corner. All right. And then you got Kyler Gordon, who's an up and coming younger guy who has played very well. He had 2 interceptions. He even had a sack and 3 tackles for loss as a cornerback. Our strong safety is a dog, Jaquan Brisker. He had 105 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 1 sack, 1 interception, 2 forced fumbles, and 1 fumble recovery. So he definitely contributed a lot. So there you go. There's three defensive guys that played really well. All right. Last year we had a rookie named Tyreek Stevenson. All right, and these are his stats that he recorded. He had 84 tackles, 4 interceptions, and 2 forced fumbles. So he definitely has the opportunity to become one of the top guys in the league. And then obviously Kevin Byard, and that's our secondary, man. Like they're looking pretty menacing. So I just gotta appreciate him
And
while we have him.
that right there is why this video is titled whatever the title I ended up choosing is, because people are saying, "Oh, the Bears have Caleb Williams, the generation." No one looks at the defense. They all are like, "Oh, they have DJ Moore. They got," which is good, but they don't look at the kind of sleeper elite defense that they got, and that's why the video is going to be titled like "Bears are a problem, not why you think."
Their last 5 games last season, they ended up being like the number 1 ranked like overall defense,
Exactly.
or like in top 5 or something like that. But they were up there,
And
and that was because everything got figured out. Like Montez Sweat came in and changed our defense, 100%.
And we'll keep this part quick. Sorry, I gotta. Okay, Whoa, we are 27 minutes in. That's crazy.
Dang.
We'll keep this part short and sweet here. Let's go to the offensive members that the Bears already have. So Cole Kmet, right? He's a heavily slept on tight end. He's 6'6". This is his 5th year in the league, but he's only 25, so he is still younger, like very young. Like I think Michael Penix is his age, or older.
Yep.
So yeah, a rookie is So it's but Cole Kmet I think is coming into his best years. Like I'd want to say, or I think he's literally just.
Well, last year was his best year.
Yeah, so he's literally just getting better, and he was number 9 on yards on tight ends, I believe. I did that, and then number 9 on tight ends, tied for number 2 on touchdowns for tight ends, and that was with a quarterback who was afraid to pass most of the time. And
yeah,
all that.
But he actually got most of his touchdowns from Tyson Bagent. So,
and he also played every single game last season, which helps when the Bears' backup tight ends. I don't know if they're good or relevant.
Well, we had Mercedes Lewis, who's an old man, so.
Yeah, get your grandpa on the field. And then we'll go DJ Moore. Honestly, another kind of slept-on receiver. Like, everyone knows he's knows he's good, but no one appreciates how good he is.
Didn't make the top 100 either.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah.
Wild. That's some crazy stuff. Crazy stuff.
So yeah, he didn't make it being the number 6 wide receiver in terms of yards, having 1,364, and the number tied for number 7 in touchdowns with 8. And I think the number 1 was like 10 or like 12 or something, but it was like a bunch tied for 7, so he's up there. And it was, he's a top tier receiver, heavily athletic. Panthers gave him up for nothing. They traded away the weapon Bryce Young needed to get Bryce Young.
Yeah, no, that's like if we're gonna actually talk about who's the MVP of this team, it's gonna be Ryan Poles because he actually cooked.
Oh yeah,
like bro cooked. Like last season, yes, we were a couple seasons ago, yes, we were the worst team in the league. But the problem was we didn't need the number 1 overall pick. We were not going to draft Bryce Young. We weren't going to draft any quarterback because Justin Fields still needed another year at least to try to prove himself, which he didn't.
Yep.
So this year, I don't know how Ryan Poles did it, but he got the Panthers first overall pick, right? Because he predicted that they were going to be the worst team in the league. Trust me. That's what happened.
He
All
knew
right.
it.
He just knew
Saw
it.
into the future.
All right. So, and he got DJ Moore out of that. So, obviously, we won that trade because, like, the DJ Moore was like Brody said, the answer. He was the answer to what, like, Bryce Young struggled with last season. His number one wide receiver was Adam Thielen, dog. Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen is a slot. He's a slot wide receiver, and he's playing wide receiver number one. Sucks, man. But and then he cooked up, got us Caleb Williams, got us Roma Dunze.
Somehow, I don't know how he fell.
Some
so
people
far.
don't like. Some people don't like that the Bears took Roma Dunze, and they would have rather him taken a defensive player. But I think the value of Rome was too high. I mean, like, what would you call them? Critics? No.
Mock drafts.
Yeah.
But
Some mock drafts put Roma Dunze over Marvin Harrison, which is I don't agree with, but
and with Odunze, right? He, like, yeah, you don't want to pick they wanted defensive players. But you got to think Keenan Allen is only like a 2-year thing because he's getting old. So he probably only has 2 more years in him. So he's going to be there, teach Rome, and then Rome's going to come take over for him. So it makes sense to take it, assuming they're not going to have as high of a pick this next year, which they probably won't because they're winning the Super Bowl. So
yep, they're going to have the number 32 pick anyway. It's guaranteed. So
and I think we'll wrap this video up with the thing that starts off every football game, the kicker, Cairo Santos, absolute dog. I'll let Mason take this one
what
over.
can you say? What can you say? He's tied second for 35 field goals made. He had a 92.1%
kick rate. He made 92% of his kicks. And
yes, whatever I was trying to say there.
When you look you got to look at this. Look at the numbers, right? You got Justin Tucker, Jay Tuck, a dog, right? Ravens #1 guy, and Young Ho Koo, two of like the highest seen kickers in the league. Both of them had 86.5% on one less attempt than Cairo Santos had. So he kicked more and had a higher percentage than them. It's just heavily slept on.
What can I say, man?
But, yeah. Bears are going to win the Super Bowl, simply put. Best defense in the league, best offense in the league.
Easily, man.
Best team of all time, frankly.
Best team, yep. Dream team right there.
They make the Legion of Boom Seahawks look bad. They make the,
they make the monsters of the Midway look bad.
Oh, yeah. That's what they do.
Steel wall. Never heard of them.
Yeah, they make Tom Brady's Patriots offense just look like a little league team. They're just that good. So yeah, if you stayed this far, I don't know how you had 30 minutes out of your day to do that, but if you did, thank you. Oh my Lord, it went away again. Thank you very much if you did. But if not, don't worry about it because if you skip to the end, you got what matters. The Bears are going to win the Super Bowl.
Exactly.
So, I mean, you did the best part.
They're going 21-0 actually.
21-0.
17-0 in the regular season and 4-0 in the postseason.
Yep, and they're going to win an extra game that's thrown in there too, just to trip the Bears up. They're going to strip their bye week because they're like, wow, these guys are too good.
Yeah.
And they're still going to win. So yeah.
Yep. We're not going to get the first. Actually, we're going to get the first overall bye, but then we're going to just pass it on because we want to win more games.
Exactly. That's what's going to happen. So yeah, thank you for watching. Means a lot. Until next time, or like the next Minecraft video, whatever we do next, we'll see you there.
It'll probably be Minecraft.
Probably be Minecraft. See you later.
All right, later.